One of the things, good percentage of first serves, I know, with my match today, and yeah, a lot of focus.
48 hours preceding her scheduled confrontation with the globe's #1 doubles specialist upon the ruddy terracotta of the Cassia Magica, Alexandra Eala stood upon a scarlet runner in Madrid, enveloped in a garment fabricated in Manila, finalized across 2 rotations of Earth, then conveyed across oceans by her maternal uncle. That identical clay, that identical metropolis, that identical adversary who, during the duo's most recent meeting, captured the middle stanza in roughly 1,440 ticks of a clock. 2 corroborated truths recline side by side yet obstinately refuse to cohere into plausible union. A 20-year-old who appended to her resplendent red carpet snapshots the caption endlessly thankful to be part of such a special night, amassing 48,000 digital affirmations in under 48 hours, now readies herself to encounter the woman who once presented her with a 6-0 bagel upon a tennis pitch. It's getting better every year. I'm a better player this year now. What transpired when the scarlet carpet intersected with the ruddy terracotta constitutes the genuine subject here. The dress I wore to the 2026 Laureus World Sports Awards at Palacio de Cibeles was a Filipiniana, the formal traditional garment of the Philippines. Her uncle, couturier Alex Eala, conceived and dispatched it within roughly 48 hours.
It's getting better every year. I'm a better player this year now.
She wore that vestment into a chamber containing Novak Djokovic, Arina Sabalenka, Simone Biles, Eliud Kipchoge and Nadia Comaneci. I felt like a princess, she uttered afterward. Nadia Comaneci's Lifetime Award speech, I was so touched. 20 hours later, she inhabited a clay court at the Cassia Magica, dispatching qualifier Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova 6-3-6-3, and addressing the Madrid throng in Castilian Spanish. The bridge linking those 2 instants is not a happenstance. It is a portraiture of the species of competitor Alexandra Eala has evolved into, and it directs unerringly toward the match scheduled for April 24th. To comprehend what Eala is stepping into, one must grasp who Elise Mertens genuinely represents right now, because the ranking chasm of number 44 versus number 21 does not commence to narrate the full chronicle. Mertens seized the 2026 Australian Open doubles crown in January alongside Zhang Shuai. She's the current planetary number 1 in doubles. She possesses 6 Grand Slam doubles titles and a career peak singles ranking of number 12. She arrived in Madrid as the 19th seed with a first-round bye, a 12-7 singles log in 2026, and a clay court career ledger of 69 victories against 41 defeats, a 62.7% win rate constructed upon placement returns, and a return game that penalizes any hesitation inside the service box. She is not a player in descent. She is a player at a very specific perilous kind of apex. And the historical record between these two is not neutral. On October 17, 2023 at the Madrid Open in Monastir, Mertens defeated Eala 7-5-6-0. Eala won merely 9 of 32 second serve points. The middle stanza lasted approximately 24 minutes. Eala was ranked around number 200 at that moment, and the scoreline mirrored every one of those 200 slots. It is worth acknowledging fleetingly that Mertens' Stuttgart week was not flawless. She constructed a 6-1-2-0 advantage over 7th seed Karolina Muchova, only to watch Muchova capture 12 of the subsequent 13 games and claim the match. Mertens harbors a susceptibility when the pressure pivots, yet she also demonstrated in that identical Stuttgart clash that she can dominate a top 10 opponent during the opening phase. And that is precisely the kind of inauguration Eala cannot afford to concede, because the 2023 head-to-head did not merely conclude 7-5-6-0. In the first set, Eala genuinely competed. She saved match points in the 12th game before Mertens broke through. Then the second set transpired. The question preceding April 24th is whether the player who rescued those match points in 2023 has metamorphosed into someone who never loses the second set at all. Start with what unfolded on April 22nd because it matters more than the scoreline suggests. Eala bested Pavlyuchenkova 6-3, 6-3, and the numeral that defines that victory is 76. 76% of first serve points won. She saved 5 of 6 break points. She broke serve twice in each set. That 76% figure is the directly documented answer to the inquiry that Greg Rusedski, Andrea Petkovic, and Martina Navratilova have each separately identified as Eala's primary developmental challenge, the serve. In their sole previous meeting, Eala won 52% of first serve points against Mertens, who numbers among the most clinical returners currently operating on the WTA Tour. The serve was the weapon then. The serve was the weapon on April 22nd as well. The disparity resides in what that weapon now looks like. That transformation did not occur in a vacuum. In the weeks before the 2026 season began, Eala trained with Rafael Nadal at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca. a session she described in terms that left no ambiguity about its physical and psychological intensity. "I was really tired after the practice," she said. "Rafa's intensity never goes away, and that's one of the things that everyone looks up to him for, his work ethic and intensity." So to be able to feel that firsthand was really great. And when asked specifically about clay, Nadal's surface, the surface Eala is now attempting to conquer, she was direct. "Anything I can take from Rafa I'll take with pride. I will play on clay in Madrid. I will carry that practice session with me." Now place yourself on April 21st inside the Palacio de Cibeles in Madrid. The chamber contains the greatest athletes alive. Eala is 20 years old. She's wearing a garment her uncle conceived and shipped in 48 hours from Manila. She's standing in the identical physical space as Djokovic, Sabalenka, Biles, and the woman who invented the perfect 10 in gymnastics. And she is not out of place. She is photographed, she is quoted, she is invited. The Laureus Committee does not extend invitations to players who do not belong in that room. The Instagram post she published that night, a photograph in the Filipina, one quiet caption, drew 48,000 likes and 589 comments before 48 hours had passed. GMA News tracked the dress story. ABS-CBN aired the clip of her celebrating with the Madrid crowd after her Pavlyuchenkova win. 6 major Philippine media outlets published dedicated coverage within 24 hours of her first-round result. The Tennis Channel social team asked the question they rarely need to pose. Do you remember a women's star who gets this kind of support wherever she goes? Those who were watching Alexandra Eala long before the mainstream arrived, who tracked her through the OVA curse, who celebrated when she snapped an 8-match losing streak against opponents whose surnames terminate in OVA by defeating Pavlyuchenkova on April 22, exactly 1 year after her last OVA win over Timofeva, those people understood something that the rankings still do not fully reflect. Eala's race to position in 2026 sits approximately at number 15 globally. Her WTA singles ranking sits at number 44. That interval between where the ranking situates her and where her actual 2026 results situate her is the authentic measure of what she is accomplishing this season. And the individuals who perceived that first were correct. Consider finally what Eala has achieved against the tier of competition Mertens currently represents since that 6-0 bagel in Monastir. She has bested Madison Keys when Keys was ranked number 5. She defeated Iga Swiatek twice in the same tournament, Miami 2025, when Swiatek was ranked number 2 at the time. She beat Coco Gauff at number 4 and Jasmine Paolini at number 8. She possesses 4 career victories over top 10 players. The player Mertens demolished in 24 minutes in 2023 has since accumulated more top 10 wins than most competitors achieve across an entire career. ESPN put it precisely in March 2026. Opponents have had a full year of film to study her patterns. The wide lefty serve on big points, the backhand down the line in transition, the willingness to absorb pace before flipping defense into offense. They have the film, she keeps winning anyway. There is one voice that carries particular weight in this specific conversation. Not a commentator's voice, not an analyst's, but the voice of a player who faced Eala in this exact city at this exact tournament on this exact surface and needed 3 sets to walk off the court. Iga Swiatek at the time of their Madrid 2025 match, the reigning world number 2 and defending Madrid champion, a player who has won Roland Garros 4 times. After that match, a match in which Eala took the first set 6-4 before Swiatek recovered 4-6, 6-4, 6-2, Swiatek said this: "I understand that there's hype about these young players, but you have got to be focused on yourself. Parse that carefully." Swiatek did not say Eala was lucky. She did not say the first set was an anomaly. She chose specifically the word hype, and then immediately qualified it by acknowledging she had to stay focused on herself. A player who required 3 sets against someone they considered purely a product of hype does not typically issue that qualifier. Swiatek was employing the precise clinical language of a champion admitting that Eala's threat was real enough to demand mental management. That admission came on Madrid clay in the same tournament Eala is playing now, against the same ruddy terracotta where she is scheduled to face Elise Mertens, who, unlike Swiatek, has never had to manage a 3-set match against this version of Alexandra Eala. Here is what this match is mathematically. At Madrid 2025, Eala reached the second round, beating Timofeva then losing to Swiatek 4-6, 6-4, 6-2. That run earned her approximately 35 ranking points. Those 35 points are the ones dropping off her total right now in real time as this video plays. A second-round exit in 2026 earns 30 points, a net loss of 5 before the French Open clay swing has even reached Rome. A round of 32 finish which requires defeating Mertens earns 65 points, a net gain of 30. Wait careful, original says round of 32 finish, earns 50 points, a net gain of 15. The original text, a round of 32 finish which requires beating Mertens earns 50 points, a net gain of 15. I'll preserve that, actually original, earns 50 points, a net gain of 15, but 50-35 equals 15, yes. Then earlier, second round exit earns 30 points, net loss of 5, so I'll keep those numbers exactly. Eala currently sits at number 44. She attained her career peak of number 29 on March 16, 2026. To be seated at Roland Garros, she needs to reach approximately number 32. The pathway from 44 to 32 runs directly through Elise Mertens on April 24th. This is the architecture behind the red carpet and the clay. Eala has already enrolled for the Rome Open from May 5th through the 17th and the Parma Ladies Open on clay in May. A structured, deliberate clay campaign that tells you exactly what the coaching team around Joan Bosch, Clay Season Edition Sandro Vani, is planning. Madrid is not an isolated event. It is the opening chapter of a French Open seeding campaign. Beat Mertens and the chapter opens with momentum. Lose to Mertens and Eala arrives in Rome already behind the mathematical pace she necessitates. Every Filipina watching from Madrid, from Manila, from every city on the planet where the diaspora tracked that red carpet moment, and viewed the video of her addressing the crowd in Spanish after defeating Pavlyuchenkova, they are observing a player fight not merely for a win, but for a structural foothold on the surface that will define whether 2026 is the year she becomes a genuine clay court threat. Her commercial value, her cultural footprint, and her Roland Garros seeding all converge upon one match. That is what the dress from Manila and the clay of Madrid share in common. They are both, in their respective languages, statements about belonging. It would be dishonest not to articulate this plainly. Alexandra Eala's clay court record in 2026 stands at 2 wins and 2 losses, and one of those 2 defeats was severe enough to raise genuine questions. On April 14th, 8 days before her Pavlyuchenkova victory, Eala faced Leylah Fernandez in Stuttgart. She fell behind 0-5 in the first set. She won just 42% of total points across the match. The final scoreline was 1-6, 4-6, and it was not as close as that 4-6 second set suggests. It was Eala's first match against a fellow left-hander on clay, and the tactical puzzle it posed exposed real unresolved elements in her clay game. 8 days is not a lengthy interval to rebuild from a match like that. The Pavlyuchenkova win in Madrid's first round was encouraging. The serve percentages were encouraging. The break-point conversion was encouraging. But Pavlyuchenkova is not Mertens. Mertens's return game is specifically calibrated to exploit precisely the kind of second serve vulnerability that produced 9 of 32 second serve points won in their last meeting. Eala has not yet beaten a top 25 player on clay in 2026. Mertens at number 21 would be the first. I've had some struggles on clay before. Eala said after the Pavlyuchenkova win, with a directness that her coaching team probably appreciated. But I've also had some really great matches. There are still a couple of tournaments left, so I'm really excited. Like, that is not a player performing confidence for the cameras. That is a player who has trained under the intensity of Rafael Nadal on this very surface, and is choosing deliberately to walk toward the difficulty rather than circumvent it. One drop of water can create waves. She has said, "I'm just trying to do my best, fight until the end." The question of whether the valley lies behind her or still ahead of her, that is what April 24th is for. Pull back and scrutinize the full picture now. A 20-year-old who was receiving bagels in 24 minutes when she was ranked number 200th, who won merely 9 of 32 second serve points in Monastir in 2023, arrived in Madrid in April 2026 having executed practice sessions with Rafael Nadal until she was exhausted, having beaten 4 top 10 players across 2 years. Having won 76% of first serve points against Pavlyuchenkova, in a clean demonstration of the exact growth that Rusetsky, Petkovic and Navratilova stated she required. And she accomplished all of this while wearing her nation's formal dress to the most prestigious sports awards ceremony on the continent, in a room with Djokovic, Biles and Kominsai, and then walking out the next morning and winning a professional tennis match. Swiatek needed 3 sets on this clay to contain her 1 year ago. The ranking mathematics demands she win this match merely to avoid losing ground before Roland Garros. And the adversary across the net is the woman who, in their sole prior meeting, made the second set vanish in 24 minutes. That is what shocks the world actually signifies. It is not about the scoreline of any single match. It is about the convergence of everything. A 6-0 bagel on her record, a 1-6 first set loss in Stuttgart just 8 days before this match, a 15-spot ranking slide in 5 weeks, a clay court record of 2 wins and 2 losses, and an opponent who is the current world number 1 in doubles, a 6-time Grand Slam champion and a player who went up 6-1, 2-0 on a top 10 player merely days ago. When Alexandra Eala steps onto that Kaja Magica clay to confront Elise Mertens, she carries something that was not present in Monastir in 2023. 4 victories over top 10 players, a serve reconstructed under Rafa Nadal's roof, a dress designed by her uncle and shipped from Manila in 2 days, and the certain irreversible knowledge that she belongs in every room she enters. Whether it is filled with Djokovic and Simone Biles or with the opponent who once made her look as though she did not belong on a tennis court at all. That is the shock, not the score, but the architecture of the person carrying it. Now here's what we do not yet know. Can she solve Mertens' return game before Mertens solves the lefty serve? Can she reach the round of 32 and commence that ascent from number 44 toward the Roland Garros seeding threshold? Or does the clay campaign stall here before Rome, before Parma, before Paris? If she defeats Mertens and advances, the draw potentially offers Ekaterina Alexandrova or former world number 1 Karolina Pliskova in the round of 32. Drop your prediction in the comments. Can Eala reach the round of 16 in Madrid? The match is April 24th. The result will determine whether the narrative this video has constructed is the prologue or the commencement of the main chapter. If you wish to be present when that chapter opens, when the verdict arrives from the Caja Magica, this channel is where the full arc resides, not merely the headline. Follow along because what transpires next in Madrid, then Rome, then Roland Garros is a saga that is only growing richer with every match she plays.